Hello, 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 and welcome to my live. Today we're going to talk about making your marketing easier using human design, and I'm so glad that you are here because I've got some fantastic things to share with you. So let's get started. As you have questions today, I invite you to put them in the comments, and if I will look at those at the end of my presentation, answer them if I'm able to. If not, I will answer them when I come back through and look at the comments. So thanks for joining me today. I have a question for you. Do you love marketing your business? That should be a pretty quick answer of yes or no. If you say yes, then probably you don't need to watch today. But if the answer for you is a resounding no, then you're in the right place. Imagine if you could know exactly what kind of marketing would be correct for you, what strategies to use, and how to implement them in a way that's effective, sustainable, and that brings you more clients, more of the soul satisfying clients that you want to have. Oh, know this, you can figure this out. And today I'm going to share with you how to do that and what that might look like. All right? So who am I? My name is Kate Barnes. I am a soul purpose and clarity coach, and I combine energy healing and human design to help entrepreneurs align with their innate energy, right? So what is most natural to them so that they eliminate resistance and have more ease and abundance in their business. I'm a certified coach, an international speaker, and an author. And marketing used to feel like a game of whack-a-mole for me. I was so busy, working my fingers to the bone, trying to do all of the things and still not getting results. And that was really frustrating for me. So it wasn't until I applied my human design that I embodied that strategy and stepped into the role of a vibrant, confident leader in my business. Marketing is all about frequency. If you don't already know this, so it's not just strategies, it's about what frequency are you in, especially when it comes to online coaching. Your audience is sensing when you feel the value of what you have to offer and when you're out of alignment with it. Well, that's why it's so important to do this background work in order to achieve those results in your business. So the chances are that you have felt pulled in many different directions with your marketing. Try this, do that. There's a tremendous amount of pressure, isn't there, in trying to push yourself to do all of the things. Now, let me ask you a question. Is your marketing falling on deaf ears? Does it feel like you're just speaking into the void and you have no idea whether or not it's working? Now, those are clues that your marketing might need a realignment using your human design. So when you're in this frequency of not being heard and you're feeling exhausted and frustrated and bitter because it's just so hard, everything feels so hard, you're experiencing chaos, pressure, that feeling of never being good enough or never being done, right? When we own our own businesses, there are always things that we can do 24 hours a day. But what happens when we do that? We get burned out. It's not sustainable. We're misaligned. And then it just throws us into a total mind game. So when you're in that frequency of chaos, pressure, feeling not good enough or never done, you're not going to be calling in your soul clients. And this is what we want. At least the people who I work with, they're here to make money. Yes, of course they are. But they're here on a mission. And they're here to live their soul purpose and to work with those soul aligned clients who they've made an agreement with at some point or another, cosmically, to work together, to co-create together. That is who I serve. Now, the frequency of lack is going to affect this. So the chaos, that's lack. The pressure is a sense of lack of time. The not good enough is a feeling of lack of value in what you have to offer, which I can guarantee you have something amazing and beautiful to offer that only you are uniquely poised from your life experiences, from your set of talents and skills, and from your mission in the world. You're here to make a difference and an impact. And you can't do that when you're in this craziment of lack. It's only attracting back to you the clients who are in chaos themselves, the ones who aren't ready to commit to your programs and your courses and your offers. So you wonder, like, why is this not working? Well, part of it is not having a marketing strategy that aligns with your human design, and part of it is that you're in that frequency. So being in lack leads straight to burnout. This is the truth. I know that you know that this is the truth. And here's the deal, it's not your fault, right? This conventional marketing, right? We're all familiar with that, what that might look like. The methods tell us to initiate, to get into the DMs with your offer, to go for the sale. Obviously, you do need to have sales experience and tactics and strategies, but this sort of harsh angle, this is not correct for 92% of the population. Only 8% from a human design perspective. The manifestors are the ones who can use this direct approach. They are the initiators. And so if these conventional methods are only working for 8% of the people, it's no wonder why so many aspiring, beautiful souls step into a coaching business or another online business and they give up because they're frustrated, they're bitter, they're like, why isn't this working for me? Well, I wouldn't necessarily recommend the hardline approach, for the pushy approach for manifestors either, but that's just my style. You choose what is correct for you. Today I'm providing some information on why it might not be working for you when you've tried these things. So it's not your fault that you don't know an alternative. I want to tell you a story about Ginger. Oh, Ginger, it's not her real name, but she is a real person who I did work with. And Ginger is a rock star. Like, she's just, at the moment I met her, I'm like, oh, this person deserves to be on a stage. She was so vibrant and beautiful and amazing. And yet, here we were in this high ticket marketing group program, and she had just signed over all of her intuition, knowledge about herself over to the person who was teaching the program because she was unfamiliar with how to run an online business for marketing. And so she was trusting that this source was going to direct her in the right way. And she was working her butt off, doing all the things, following the formula, and it wasn't working. It, like, seriously wasn't working. And I was like, oh my gosh, here she is, this amazing soul who is on the verge of burnout and giving up on her mission just because this isn't working for her. So she had asked the group coach, was like, oh, what should I do? Here's the situation. The group coach was like, go back to the formula, work on your mindset. And I knew that there was something more for her to know about how to overcome the situation. And it wasn't about mindset. It was more than mindset. It was about alignment. It was about frequency. And she had at her core a very powerful frequency and presence of someone who's here to teach us something, to transform people. So got in contact with her. I said to her, we're going to connect. We're going to meet a few times. We're going to figure this out. And we looked at her human design. And sure enough, she is a projector. She is totally not suited for the methods in that formula. They were not working for her because they were not designed for her design. She's not meant to be pushing, initiating sales, calling people up, sending all this blah, 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 blah. She's meant to be out there doing her thing, visible where people are seeing her, and then the invitations roll in. Okay, seems like a fairy tale. And it was absolutely hard for her to believe that it would be possible for this kind of scenario to work. Now, here's the deal. Projectors have a very big paradigm shift when it comes to marketing. When you find out you're a projector and you've been trying this other way of marketing that's very direct and it's not working, and you're told to hold back and wait for the invitation, which is the strategy. We're going to get to the details of strategy here in just a few moments. But for Ginger, her strategy was draining all of her life force, or the initiating, the direct looking for business, asking for business, making offers. All of that was draining her life force energy because it wasn't correct for her. And then she was not getting clients, which then made her think, oh my gosh, I need to quit. I need to do something else. This is not for me. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. So by understanding this, I'm going to call it simple, but it's not simple at all. Because when she discovered that she could step back, be in her power, be in her most powerful frequency, and that would draw people to her to give invitations to her, it was a huge relief. But it was also like this thing where she thought, how can it be possible for marketing to be so easy? And so there's this other piece here that is an important part of applying the chart. Now, I have to just pause for a moment and say, you may be like, oh, what is this human design thing? It's the latest trend or whatever. Maybe you've known about it for a while. You've downloaded your chart. Maybe you had a reading with someone. Maybe you had a longer reading. And you're like, well, what do I even do with this information? Just having your chart and knowing what your type is not going to be the same as applying the information and applying it directly to you. When I first saw my chart, I was overwhelmed. I did a lot of do-it-yourself investigation, which is fine. Different people want to do things different ways. You certainly can collect that information on your own. But it wasn't until I had a really powerful individual reading that I was able to accelerate the application of my chart onto my business, onto my life, onto all those other things. So the reason for that is because it's such a big shift. We're told in society that things are supposed to be a certain way. We're told that we're supposed to be go-getters. We're told that we're supposed to be working all the time and that only the things that are hard are things that count, earning a living, all of these phrases that we have. And so we have this openness that's taking in what's called conditioning. So for Ginger, she had conditioning around, well, it can't feel as easy. There's something suspicious about this, or it can't possibly work. And so there's a big leap of faith that happens in starting to embody and apply the human design type. That really does best when it's done in conjunction with someone who is holding the space for you. And then there's this process of deconditioning that needs to happen. Well, is it really true that things have to be hard? What if it could be easy? What would that mean for your overall energy levels? We'll see in a moment that projectors don't have access to sustainable energy levels. So this is a piece that's really important to get a handle on. So in my work with Ginger, we looked at those rules that she had just taken on really without looking at them closely, and some of the assumptions and stories that she was telling, and then creating her own experience of it and stepping into the energy of it, which is why I don't look at human design as simply a program. I'm running the chart, I'm telling you, what you're looking at or what the things say. We're looking at it from an energetic level of, what does this mean? How do you respond to that? Does that resonate? And never am I saying, this is what it says, this is the only thing that we can do. It's about using the human design as a way to figure out what is needed for you in particular. So the coaching is coming in, the energy work is coming in, other tools are coming in to the process, and that's, I think, where the most synergy happens. All right, so I have a free gift for you because I really want you to know the possibility that can happen here. And so this free gift is, I'm putting the link in the chat. This allows you to take the very next step. It's called Align Your Energy Using Human Design. So this is focusing on only type and strategy, and particularly asking you to focus in on your own type and strategy. Because until you master these parts, you are not going to experience the full power of your chart. There are so many rabbit holes, and this system is very complex and layered that it's easy to get distracted. But if you're not doing the type and strategy that I'm going to share with you briefly for each type in the next few minutes, then you're not really going to benefit in the same way. This free gift is not here to fire hose you with lots and lots of information. It's for you to step into the very next thing. In case you didn't know, Human Design is a powerful tool. It combines the Chinese I Ching, Hindu chakras, the Kabbalah, astrology, and quantum physics. Like any system, you can use it in a limited way, or you can use it in an expansive way. As I said before, I'm combining these different tools to use it in an expansive way, in a very direct path for you to do your soul purpose and to express your highest level of consciousness. So in the remaining time that we have, just about a little less than 15 minutes, we're going to talk about those 5 different types and the strategies and some of the things that come up in the process of marketing if you have those strategies. So here we go. I just put a link in the chat for you to get your free chart if you don't already know what your human design type is. You can go to Jovian Archive, click on there. This direct link will get you to a page where you're putting in your birth date, your birth time, and your birthplace. So what you'll receive is something that looks like this. This is my chart. It's going to have a whole bunch of information that you may be like, oh, what is that thing? You know, some people see this and they're like, oh, like they know it. So it may be on an elemental level that you're being drawn to this knowledge so that you can expand into your next evolution. What I would suggest for you to do is to not get carried away by all of the different pieces of this. The thing to look at is the type. It's going to be one of 5 types: manifestor, generator, manifesting generator, projector, or reflector, and the strategy, which is, it's a strategy, and that's going to be any number of things that I'll specify as we go through here. The advantage to grabbing your chart as well as getting the free gift that I had, which looks like this, it's a download, is that it has kind of an overview of some different things that you might find kind of fascinating. But all you really need to do is look at your particular energy type and read those couple of pages. There's some questions for you to ask to begin to step into and embody your human design type. So let's dig in, shall we? First, we're going to talk about manifestors. And as I said earlier, manifestors are only about 8% of the population. They are here to get the ball rolling. They're here to initiate. And they've got this nonverbal process that is going straight from their divine inspiration to action. They might get kind of annoyed if they get interrupted in the process of taking their divinely inspired action. And so that that's a dynamic that can be created for manifestors that can be frustrating for them and frustrating for others. So those more traditional marketing strategies will work for manifestors. They're inspired with that innovative idea and they get right to work creating it. They can say, hey Susan, let me tell you about my newest course to manage anxiety. I think it would really help you with some of the challenges you're having right now. Would you like to sign up? They're able to be direct in that way. They're able to connect people with things. They're able to download an idea and bring it right into action. And that is not correct for the other 92% of the population, right? So we're going to talk about what the alternatives might be. Sometimes manifestors can make others uneasy because others are sensing that there's like this thing that's this big energy that's happening. And so the strategy for manifestors is to keep people in the loop. It's to inform them. Now notice I didn't say ask for permission. It's about informing. So that piece there, that worry that if I inform, I'm asking for permission, this can be a real bugaboo for the deconditioning for manifestors, especially if they're female and they've been told that they need to, ask for permission, or they get in trouble if they go ahead and do things. All right, next are generators, and generators make up about 30%, 37% of the population. If you include manifesting generators, who are a form of generators, but enough different that I separate them out, you're looking at about 70% of the population who are approaching things in this particular way. So generators love to build and to work, to be the lifeblood that keeps society functioning well. But they're not meant to be out there pushing things or initiating out of thin air, even if they have great ideas. Instead, their strategy is to wait to respond. So what does that mean? It means that instead of rushing into action, they need to slow down and ask their sacral, do I have the energy for this? And the sacral, which is this handy dandy little tool that all generators have to help them make decisions, is going to give them a clear answer. When we're not using our minds to direct our lives, we're using our bodies, we're using our inner knowing. And that sacral center is such a cool place to connect with the intuitive inner knowing, because it doesn't lie. Our words can mask other things, but the sacral doesn't lie. So when I do sacral sessions with generators, it can be so cool, the awarenesses that they have about things that they've been waffling on. So when generators trust their strategy and authority, which I'll talk about authority another time, the opportunities are going to appear for them to decide on, to respond to. And this is a big shift in approach that brings up a fair bit of deconditioning, as you might imagine. Manifesting generators, like I said, manifesting generators are generators at their foundation. They may have an even harder time waiting to respond because they're express builders. They're genies of finding the quickest path, and everything is go, go, go. I'm a manifesting generator, so I am very familiar with this energy. So as this type is a generator at its foundation, it also has a blend of the manifestor ability to step into action. Now, once they've aligned with the correct opportunities and the timing is correct, then they can make a very fast leap forward. But they have to do the first waiting to respond, which is so hard. Patience is such a challenge for manifesting generators. I can attest to that. One area of conditioning that comes up for manifesting generators is, in marketing in particular, is the idea that they're supposed to niche. They're supposed to focus down on just one thing. So they may have been told that in their lifetimes, but it's kind of like death to a manifesting generator to narrow. And so it's important to understand that manifesting generators thrive when they've got multiple things going. They're learning about this, they're learning about that. Just know that not all of those things are going to come to fruition or completion. It's okay, because those things are discharging some of the very vibrant energy that manifesting generators have as they're completing and bringing other offers forward. Now, are you beginning to see how liberating it can be to know what your human design type is? Um, I'd love to see, pop your questions into the chat, and also take a peek at the resources that I will repost, the free gift and how to get your chart here again at the end. So let's move on to projectors. Many of you in this group are projectors, and projectors, like Ginger, the example I talked about earlier, have a complete paradigm shift when it comes to marketing, because they do not have access to that consistent, sustainable energy to do the work of marketing. And so they need to consider their energy carefully. They're not here to initiate conversations, but they are here to share their wisdom and be invited to share their wisdom. So the irony of projectors is that their role in society is to be the guides, the wise ones, the ones giving direction in a company or to a group. They probably were told growing up that they're bossy. They may have been felt left out of things. Also, projectors need acknowledgement. And that doesn't mean just from others. It means that they need to acknowledge their own wisdom and their own needs to rest, to protect their energy, and to be able to wait until someone asks them for their wisdom. Growing up, projectors might have also been called lazy because they don't have that motor, they don't have access to that energy on a consistent way. If they were naturally called to honor their resting, they may have been told by, imagine this, like 70% of the world has this generator, go, go, go kind of thing. And so likely their parents or their siblings or someone else in their lives told them, you got to be busy, busy, busy. And it is not correct. And in fact, projectors can pretend to be generators, to be working in life, and then they get to about 40 and they burn out. So even if at this point they have shifted into their focus, right? Let's say you got to be 45 and you've started an online coaching business, but you're still burned out, you're not going to attract clients until you address the burnout, until you understand how to really honor and replenish your energy. And that's a process. There's a lot of conditioning that comes up in this. It can be a huge relief to discover, oh, this explains so much about my life. It also can be a sense of grief. And so, again, having someone to help hold the space for you as you're making those shifts, and understanding that, yes, it can be easier, marketing can be easier. I can promise you, because I know people, projectors, who've gotten to the other side of this, who are thriving, who are like wise goddesses, and people can't help but invite them into things because that they have learned how to feel, embody the power of their value, right? Instead of just giving away, giving away, giving away. So this is a shift, but such a critical one for projectors to fulfill their soul mission as the wise guides that they're here to be. Finally, reflectors are the most unique type. There's only about 1% of them in the population, and they have a chart that is tied into the lunar cycle. So the other types are what's called solar types. Reflectors are lunar types, and how they experience the world depends completely on where they are, who they're with. Their environment is so important. And so if they're around toxic people, or they're in an environment where everyone's just draining their energy, it's going to be very difficult for them to do what they need to do to live their soul mission. Now, if you thought that waiting to respond was hard, or that waiting for the invitation was hard, get this, the strategy for reflectors is to wait a full 28-day lunar cycle and sometimes multiple cycles to make big decisions in their lives, like where are they going to live, should they sign up for a particular program, those kinds of things. And so this can create a problem because so many people have put pressure on making quick decisions, and it's just not correct for reflectors. Reflectors will do their best when they have the space and time to make decisions on their own timing and being in the right environment with the right people. So there's just some key pieces for reflectors to get into place in order to have the successful role that they get to have, which is to be at the center of things, to really share what is the health of the community. A reflector would be such a beneficial person to have in your group program, someone who is going to guide the group and help them come to awareness of themselves. So, such a powerful type, and I'm going to leave it at that. Say to you, are you intrigued? Are you wanting to learn more about human design and how you might apply your human design to be have an easier and more effective time with your marketing? It is possible. I have an offer for you to step into a session with me and fall in love with your design. These sessions are available in November at 50% off, and it's a great opportunity. If you've been curious about human design, or you would like to go from just knowing your type to applying your type, you're going to have an aha moment here. This is a great price. I thank you for your attention today, and please leave any messages that you have, comments, questions, and I will answer those in a little while. Thank you. Bye.